Hello everyone. Thank you so much for the invitation to talk about our work on urban agriculture, welfare and health. My name is Hans Bijls. I'm the director of the Foundation De Wending and founder of the urban farm Food for Good in the Netherlands. I would like to share the following with you. First of all, a little bit about my background, then about how Food for Good works, and what the broad benefits of Food for Good are, and how especially it contributes to the health of the citizens of the city of Utrecht, the city where the garden is situated. And finally, I will give a brief introduction of what positive health is and how we use it in the garden. About myself, I grew up as a farmer's son and worked a lot in agriculture, organic farming and care farming. And for the last 20 years I've mainly been working on creating community gardens. Working with communities is essential in my work. The last 10 years the focus has shifted to projects about growing food in various ways, including food forests. And in the last 3 years the concept of positive health has become more important. As you can see, I mainly focus on social and health effects of urban farming. So why is that? That's my mission, my personal mission, and the mission of our foundation is nature connects. Because as humans we lived for ages as groups of people close to nature. That's in our DNA. So with natural community gardens we can bring people together again. Gardening connects people across cultures and ages. I have some examples from gardens we were working on or have been working on and that still exist today. This garden within the blue lines is situated in Amsterdam. It's close to the city center. It's about 3,000 square meters of public space between the buildings. The community produces food for the food bank and for a social restaurant. Another garden is this one. It's about 3,500 meters. It's in the suburbs of Utrecht. It's a historical site. It's on the old gardens of a castle. And here the community works together with several organizations and schools. Education about food is very important. This garden is also a public space. This is Food for Good, where I'm going to talk the most about today. That's our biggest garden. It's 7,000 square meters and it's also part of a public park. Before Corona we had at least 50 visitors from South Korea, and one group has made this video and which has been shown on South Korean state television, I was told. It gives a very good impression how this urban garden is located in a city. So I will show you this. So now again a closer look at Food for Good. Food for Good combines professional healthcare or care with community gardens, with community gardening. We work with volunteers from the neighborhood with a stable structure of commitment and responsibility. Vulnerable people can work under the guidance of professionals in a safe manner and be active. The vulnerable people work together with the volunteers, so they integrate more in society. Connections between people who would not easily meet each other outside of the garden is one of the main added values of the garden. And in addition, vegetables, fruit, flowers, honey are grown and sold. Also oyster mushrooms are grown on coffee grounds. Paid workshops and team building days are also organized. Now I show you another video. In this video you will see people at work and they share how they experience working in a garden and what it brings them. And this video is subtitled in English. And now I want to show you how the working together works in the garden. Here, for example, on this picture, you see 4 people working together. On the right, a retired woman is in charge of planting the lettuce. She knows what to do, how to plant the lettuce, at what distance, etc. On her left, a young man with an autistic background is doing the planting. He needs very clear instructions and then works very precisely. So he plants the lettuce perfectly. In addition, a young man with an intellectual disability waters the plants. He comes every day to water the plants, whether it rains or not. In this case, it's a very good idea to water because the plants do need water now. At the same time, he takes a child of one of the other volunteers with him, so that this other volunteer has his hands free for other jobs. And this way, people with very diverse backgrounds and disabilities work together. This is the core of how working together in the garden works. The garden also connects people from various backgrounds, from all kinds of cultural backgrounds. These are women from Moroccan origin. And this is a group of elderly Moroccan people, Moroccan men, and of course they like to be within their own group. But because there are also many other people in the garden, there's lots of connections between the different groups. Here's a screenshot of some of the Food for Good workers. All different kinds of backgrounds. In a community garden, a community city garden, it's very important that people from the neighborhood feel ownership of the garden, that they are empowered to take initiatives and make an effort to get something done in the garden. This contributes to their well-being. Here on this picture, those people are making a food dryer on sunlight. Herbs and vegetables and oyster mushrooms are dried in here and sold. And here's another example of a volunteer building an insect hotel. In addition to the social meeting function of the community garden, is finding peace and quietness in a busy city also very important. Various people come especially to work alone somewhere in a garden close to the earth, with their nose to the ground. In this way they clear their heads and feel more connected to the earth, nature and themselves. In Dutch we have a saying, learned young, done old. In English, according to the translators, it is the following saying: as the twig has bent, the tree is inclined. In any case, it's important that children, as young as possible, come into contact with nature and food production. That helps make their future lifestyle more healthy. The elderly also help, for example, to sort out seeds. It often brings up memories of their youth. Especially for people with memory problems, activities in a garden are very valuable and activating for them. Taking care of the crops, investing in the soil, in sowing, weeding, carrying and finally harvesting gives a satisfying feeling, a feeling of pride. This strengthens the participant's self-esteem. The garden is a public space, so visitors are always welcome. They can see and learn how vegetables are grown. At the same time, they come into contact with the diversity of people who work in the garden. This contributes to the tolerance between different groups of people. And of course there is education, especially for children. They gain more understanding and appreciation for nature and the cultivation of food. And then, no matter how beautiful the harvest is and how proud people are of the vegetables do not provide enough money to run a sustainable business. Vegetables are just too cheap. The selling of vegetables is only 5 to 10% of our income. So how do we solve that? We have grown over time into a fully fledged healthcare company. We see how happy and amazed people are in the garden, like these 3 elderly people with memory problems. Our offer is very diverse for several groups of people. We like in terms of an ecosystem. We guide about 80 unique participants per week. And for this we have a team of 3 professionals, about 1.5 full-time jobs. 70% of our income is from care. And then in addition, we have, as on sheet 25, in addition we have income from commercial activities, like we rent out our spaces for meetings, we do catering, we do team building activities, and we do public activities around nature, food, health and sustainability. The participants and the volunteers have an active role in these activities and gain work experience in them. This is how those activities look like. This is a catering job. This is a pizza workshop, that's page 27. The pizza school, that was very nice, but because of Corona we could not continue this business. We needed more space for our own participants. This is how the self-baked pizzas with products from our garden taste like. You see the 12 domains of the local municipality. It's not translated in English, but it's people, planet, profit. You can see in the middle. There are all different domains around it. Urban agriculture creates added value in all these areas. Only there's no compensation is paid for this added value. The challenge for the urban agriculture is to gain financial appreciation for delivering these several different values. And these values, these added values, are measured and proven by various impact measurements. Because there's not a sound business model, healthy business model for these social urban agriculture, initiatives like Food for Good are dependent on private funds. And on this sheet you see the several logos of private funds where we get money from. Food for Good makes regular use of them, especially for investments. And those things together, the activation, the selling of produce and the funding and the funds, make the business case healthy. As you have seen, we approached urban farming from multiple perspectives, and we pay particular attention to the well-being of the people. We try to combine as many people and functions as possible to build healthy ecosystems of people, nature and organizations. Because the ecosystem is a community with a dynamic balance and a self-healing capacity and resilience. The strength lies in the diversity, the cohesion and in mutual relationships. This means we can create 1 + 1 is 3, and people and nature can thrive. This brings me to the concept of positive health. This way of looking at healthcare is more about people's ability to adapt and show resilience rather than repairing a disease. In positive health, health is a broader perspective, is broader than the absence of disease or symptoms. It's increasingly central role is played by other aspects such as resilience, sense of purpose, meaningfulness and self-management. So the emphasis is not illness but on people themselves, on their resilience and what it is that makes their life meaningfulness. And here is a link from a Dutch site, but it's an English version. And with this spider web, people can score their health surface by filling out 42 questions about the 6 life domains that together indicate how people think and feel about their own well-being and health. This is used by general practitioners. We use it in guiding participants towards their own goals. Positive health is a big movement right now in the Netherlands, and that's why I thought it's important to show you. I hope I've been able to give you an idea of what urban agriculture on a small scale in a city can look like, and that it is important and promising to combine the various functions of urban agriculture, and that this leads to a solid, resilient initiatives with a broad social return. I am thankful for the several awards we won, which tell us that we are doing the right thing. Thank you for your interest. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. Thank you.